Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about DoorDash canceled Pedro Doordash Santiago. So yesterday, specifically as of this recording, Pedro Doordash Santiago got deactivated from DoorDash. And the first question in my mind was, so does that make him Pedro Santiago now? Of course, we're all asking why and everything else that is happening with that. And he did make a video talking all about it, as well as a 146-minute live stream. So with that said, we are talking about what Pedro Doordash Santiago is saying after being deactivated, what caused the deactivation in the first place, and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started.
All right, I've been making DoorDash content for a little over 3 years now. I've been on the app for over 4. To many people on YouTube, at least, and even in my community, I'm the DoorDash guy. I've been called DoorDash Jesus, DoorDash Jesus. I've been called a lot of things. But I am a guy that people get DoorDash information and content from. And they come here to get information or to be entertained.
The thing I would say about Pedro's channel, and I know he's trying to branch into Mr. Bet on You, and that is an important point. Your brand was literally Pedro Doordash Santiago. So in everybody's mind, you're the DoorDash guy. So yeah, I definitely see how people can feel that way, even if it's, way beyond that now and no longer there at the moment.
I worked DoorDash this morning and late morning, early afternoon, came home, was going to go back out, couldn't get on. Checked my email, I got deactivated. I literally asked for it when I made my video the other day talking about 2 miserable customers. I'm going to double down. Kamisha, Michelle, you suck. And DoorDash, I got to tell you, I've been going in on customers for a while. And I finally got caught.
Did you get caught, or were you, at the time, you were considered more of an asset because of your following, because of all that? But now that DoorDash is taking a different direction, and I'll talk about that later, your message is no longer what the company wants? I don't know. I don't know if that's part of it. Maybe it does have to do with the reporting. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But I definitely want to hear what he's got to say, because there's plenty of people that have called out other people in the past with their faces and everything, and it has never been a problem. Suddenly it's a problem. What's happening there?
What happened was the video that I shared a message, and I've done this before on videos, that the customer sent me because she was not happy I didn't make a replacement when she didn't have any subs for the detergent at Dollar General.
LOL, you couldn't even try to get anything else. Hell nah, no tip. Get a real job. Bookie. First of all, if you can't even spell, your literacy is probably as shit as you are a person. That's number 1. Number 2, most substitutes aren't even all that possible. I love how some people will ask for this specific brand of detergent, or they'll look for this thing, and they are literally out. They cannot get any more. They're expecting a shipment in the morning, and suddenly we're the bad guys. I feel like this is exactly the kind of person who would end up on TikTok and cry about,
oh my god, these male DoorDash driver, they completely forgot the detergent. And the worst part is they expected a tip from me. Why do they tip you? Get a real job.
So if you see someone online named Kamisha talk about Instacart, it's this bitch right here.
I didn't want to just pick something because some people like certain detergents. I drop it off. She sends me a message saying, I'm not going to give you no tip. You didn't give me, you couldn't even substitute. Hell no, I'm not giving you a tip. You a brokey.
Detergents, scented stuff, especially alcohol, especially with alcohol. Some people are very particular about their brands of booze and stuff like that. And then we're going to get the blame because we ended up having to substitute it with a brand of detergent that you would end up getting a rash from. Yeah, no, some people are just looking for any reason in the world to say no tip. But here's the reality. And here's my question to Pedro. Why did you accept a no-tip order? I'm assuming through the thumbnail, because there's a $12.25 order, that the dollars to mile ratio made sense, and it was just being declined that much. Which in my mind, okay, if that's how it ended up turning out, then no wonder why she's like that. She's a failure no-tip customer with no life value.
So she could kind of make fun of me. I hadn't said anything to her. I've never been rude, but I showed that message. And I think that's what happened.
So wait, you didn't confront the customer. She disrespected you in so many different ways. And DoorDash tolerated her disrespect to you, verbally assaulted you. That's the word that is used in the contract, verbal assault to you. That's for both customers and drivers. They are justifying deactivating you specifically for how she treated you at the end of the day, and you going online to talk about it. But either way, I don't think that's what it is here. Maybe they're online and you posting that led to their TikTok or whatever, and because it led to their TikTok, she reported you to DoorDash, or maybe she made up a story about you. I know that you're saying, oh, this is warranted, this is justified or whatever. I wouldn't say it's justified. She disrespected you and she can't take that energy back. If Bitty Baby can't take what she dished out, then she shouldn't be dishing it out at all. And DoorDash shouldn't be tolerating it. DoorDash needs to either tolerate it on both sides or not at all. And that's the end of it.
So I'm assuming that that's what it is. I think somebody on YouTube reported me because there's no way that that customer saw it. Or maybe DoorDash happened to see it on their own. I did attribute them in the video. The thumbnail said, deactivate me, please, for this.
Okay, let's add a couple more theories to the already theory that I had. Customer saw it, or one of the customers' fans saw it, sent it to her, then you were reported, whatever. A hater for Pedro, which I'm sure that there's plenty of haters for Pedro. You don't get to a certain height in followers without getting haters. I am nameless nobody nothing with 9,800 followers, realistically speaking. I still get haters in abundance. You can't get to his level in follower count and not receive that kind of flack. Or DoorDash happened to see the content somehow, some way. Maybe they were just doing their comb over of all the gig tubers out there, see if anybody's saying anything out of line, and seeing, all right, this kind of person doesn't need to be on our platform. Here's what we should do. Here's how we silence those kind of people.
Because I went in on customers that give Dashers a hard time. Because I believe when you have a platform like that and you're allowing customers to disrespect Dashers, not tip them, and then leave them remarks like that, they don't deserve to use the platform. And maybe I don't deserve to use it to make money because I can be petty and I call people out. And I'm okay with that.
Okay, but you know what? Same. And I don't even just do that to DoorDash. I do that to companies. I do that to people, security guards. This is 2024. We match energy. Enough with the customers abusing their drivers. Enough with the customers abusing anybody, really, in the name of I'm a customer and I do what I want. Gig workers and people in general should just match the energy that they're receiving. If Bitty Baby can't take what they dish out, then Bitty Baby should quack all the way home.
I knew this day would come at some point. And I always thought, man, I kind of want it to happen. I've been talking about it for the last couple of months. I made the video, deactivate me, please. Like, I don't care. Maybe they saw that and said, okay, young man, you get what you want. Can't cry and complain about that.
But that's also why you diversify your gig portfolio. That's why you have alternative sources of income. You're a pretty big deal on YouTube now. I noticed that you're also doing some Deliver That content, which I've been doing Deliver That. I really should be making content about that too. I just haven't personally. Either way, you're gonna be okay for the most part. Just make sure you are talking about all those other companies at this point. Heck, how often do I have people sending me emails about stuff that is happening even on DoorDash? I think Pedro's going to be okay even if he's not an active driver on the platform.
Do I agree with being deactivated for me showing that information? Technically, yes. If it's in the TOS, if it's against the community guidelines, deactivate me and anybody else all you want. Because most of us Dashers do something at some point that can technically get you deactivated.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If the customer's doing that too, then they should also be deactivated. Like, it should go both ways. We just have a lot more to lose. If a customer gets deactivated on DoorDash, they're just deactivated. They could just make another account, call it a day, new email, whatever. We get deactivated on DoorDash. You know how hard it is to get back on? Like, I know that some people sometimes manage to open up other accounts. In fact, somebody has encouraged me more than once to open up another account. I'm just not about that life, man. Or maybe start renting out accounts to people who wouldn't qualify. But that also builds itself onto a problem. Why are you so dependent on DoorDash to where you would find a way to wiggle your way back in, as opposed to not letting people treat you the way they did and pull out, go anywhere else that'll either treat you right or start working on something else to where you're not dependent on anybody, any one person at any period of time at all.
And I will always stand my ground against these miserable customers, because I believe, and it's my thought process, and it's my opinion, really actually it's a fact, that if you don't tip a food delivery driver, a server that gave you good service, if you don't show gratitude and kindness, you're a miserable human being.
Couldn't have said any better myself. No tip, no trip. Don't like it, don't order. Period.
Now, if you live in another country and it's not culturally part of your makeup of what you've grown up at, that's different.
Yeah, but you don't come to America from another country and impose those values upon others based on the prospect of it wasn't like that out there, so they should have more tolerance here. No, you came here. You brought yourself from Europe, from Mexico, from Canada, from China, from Japan, from anywhere. You came here.
Now, is it a little weird? Am I a little upset? Am I a little like, damn? Sure, if I'm being honest.
I feel like the first time you get deactivated from any platform, I know how easy it is to go to victimhood, so good on him for not going there. But that initial burn, man, oh my god, that rage in your gut knowing that it wasn't your fault, or you know why they're doing that. Yeah, he said he was the reason why, but there are times where you're like, no, not the one at fault here, or they just don't tell you why at all. I don't think there is a justifiable reason to not tell you why someone is deactivated. You don't justify technicalities with shitty behavior, because we all know what this is really about. It's never simply what is in the contract. As much as you may or may not have violated it, they created an unsafe environment for you and they justified it. Like, why isn't the rules applied to both ends? If anything, they created the unsafe environment. Why should DoorDash not play by their own rules that they set for us if they're the ones doing it? Because it's never about that. It's about determining if you're an asset or a liability. You started to talk more about platforms that are paying more. You're telling them that, oh, please deactivate me. Oh, please do this. I want to move on. And that's not the attitude that the epitome of a DoorDash driver, simply by name, Pedro Doordash Santiago, that's not the kind of person they want representing them. And that's just how it is.
DoorDash, if anything, has been holding me back. It's done a lot for me on YouTube, but even currently now where we're at, holding me back long term, I think.
I feel like everyone has that app. For me, it was Veho for a period of time, to where you feel like you could be making a lot more for the amount of time you're putting in if you just dropped this app or another app or otherwise. But the reason in which you justify it is because, oh, they're an active app. They have a high volume of orders or whatever. Like, they always keep me busy, or there's this reason in your mind that you're justifying it. Oh, I'll keep Veho on because, like, it's a guaranteed certain amount for my day when I can't get orders from this platform or whatever that looks like. The best thing you could do, either cut it off yourself or get deactivated. Expose a reason why that happened, etc. I'm glad that works out for him in this way.
I think subconsciously, I was asking for it.
Not gonna lie, I felt that way when Veho deactivated me. I felt that way when Veho deactivated me. They didn't pay out the return package fee, and I was ready, man. I was ready to just let them go, and I was saying that. And what they do, they poked the bear, and I kept swinging like I was hitting a home run, man. And then I made a video about it. Literally exactly this. I'm not claiming like this was my idea or anything like that. It's nothing like that at all. There's so many people who have done this. I'm just saying I definitely relate to that mindset, especially as a creator. Like, I feel like I could be talking about other things that would be much more helpful for gig workers than just whatever content the Daily Dot throws out or whatever content that is sent to me through an email, even though that's what you're asking for. And I get that. But I definitely want to do gig reviews on things like Deliver That. I know I made one already, but I want to get a revisited one because I've been doing much better with them. I want to make gig reviews on companies that may or may not be heard at this point. Like, what's the mindset here? Because some companies, like, they have a sign-up page, but you don't know much about them. And they don't exactly have their own help pages. Or maybe there's really just not a whole lot to them. Maybe it's just a simple system that is just there to make money at the end of the day, whatever that looks like. And I definitely want to talk about that too. And some of the problems that are coming up in the catering space, because food delivery and catering are two different worlds.
And I want to be clear, I never said anything to a customer that would be labeled as disrespectful or unsafe in person or in the chat. I never had any issues with merchants, nothing like that. It was for somebody reporting me. They said in the email, somebody reported an incident.
If you're somebody who is goading customers or fighting with customers, but that's not happening here. He made a video about it.
I don't even think Human Eye seen it, because when I did the appeal, I got a response in 45 minutes. No way. You can't, ain't nobody sitting at a desk looking at it that quick, and they can investigate in 45 minutes. It was automated response.
I guarantee you, hands down, no questions asked. They don't actually check the appeals. They don't actually have a person looking at these appeals at the end of the day. They AI it, and they make sure that people get deactivated. And you know that DoorDash will be the first to say whenever a reporter would ask about it.
We have human eyes looking at all of the appeals, and we make a judgment to whether or not they should stay on the platform.
Or really whatever political nonsense they like to spew out to make themselves look good, even though they're full of shit. Even if it's an AI tool assisting a support agent, right? They need to have support agents that do their freaking job. That's not something you should give to a support agent in the Philippines who don't care about us. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. For whatever reason, he was deactivated, whether it was a report from the customer, whether it was a report from one of his viewers, whether DoorDash just happened to see it, kind of irrelevant. I think, personally, Pedro Doordash Santiago should have been rebranded a long time ago to Mr. Bet On You. I know he was in the transition period of actually doing that, but with the algorithm working the way it was, it gets him a significant amount of views on a regular basis. Ride-along content does do well. I don't do ride-along content myself. I would like to think I'm doing okay for my channel size. I hope at the end of the day he does okay. I hope at the end of the day he'll do just as well, if not better, with just as much content with other apps, especially with how Deliver That, Delivered, and all of these other apps that he's already on. He could do just as well. He could definitely start to expand outward. I know that I need to work on some things myself and make sure that I am expanding my content properly and not just simply dependent on the on-demand delivery apps. I was having a conversation with one of the founders or the CEOs of Time to Eat SoFlo or Street Lions. One of the concerns that he has is that most of my content is in the on-demand food delivery space and not anything like the schedule for the next day or anything like that, or those kind of deliveries, because that's a different conversation for different types of orders. So I know that I'm limiting myself in that way. And maybe he does get back on. I made a video about how Nugs got canceled after 3 years of being on the platform, and he ended up getting back on after making a post about it. Whether that happens this time or not, I don't know. I don't think so. I think he'll be okay regardless. But this is exactly the point. You never stay dependent on any one gig platform, no matter what that looks like. You gotta maintain a diversified gig portfolio. You gotta treat the gig economy like an income bridge to what would be a long-term goal, not the goal. And you gotta really study every platform that you plan to work on. Whether it's something as simple as a catering app or a food delivery app or a package delivery route, maybe you're doing grocery delivery, maybe you're doing tasks through things like TaskRabbit or things like that, whatever that looks like. But all in all, the era of Pedro Doordash Santiago may be over, but Mr. Bet on You has a very strong future ahead, as long as he actually bets on himself. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!